Hi everyone, Joe here with a special video that's a little bit outside the box for us. Today we're looking at a brand new game called Fire and Maneuver. Anyone who knows me knows that I am a huge history nerd. I'm the kind of guy who reads history books for the fun of it. They'll also know that in addition to playing post-apocalyptic first-person shooters, I enjoy a good strategy game. Which brings us to Fire and Maneuver, a free-to-play, history-based strategy game being brought to us by the team at the Armchair Historian, one of my favorite YouTube channels. I've included a link to their channel in the video description below, along with the Steam community page for the game they're creating, Fire and Maneuver, which is going to be available for early access on July 15th. Okay, let's jump into it. This game is based on battle tactics from the mid to late 19th century, specifically between 1853 through 1871. If you know your history, that's from the beginning of the Crimean War through the American Civil War to the end of the Franco-Prussian War. The first thing you'll notice is that I'm playing an alpha release of the game, so take what I'm showing you with a grain of salt. And remember, if we see any bugs or glitches, and we will see them, hey, it's an alpha release. For example, the tutorial mode isn't quite ready yet, and that would have helped me out a lot since I had some difficulty actually figuring out the user interface. We'll start out by choosing our game mode. In this case, I'm customizing a game mode, and that includes the time period of the game, which is a choice between the Age of Glory, which I think are smoothbore muskets, and the Age of Rifles. We then choose the army that we're going to be leading. Here I am flipping through the armies that are available. It looks like we have the Prussians, the British, the Russians, the Ottomans, the Austrians, Italy, the United States, the Confederate States of America, France, and at the moment one that is unlockable in the future. In this case, I've chosen the North German Confederation, essentially the Prussians. Depending on the mode, we'll have to buy the units we'll be deploying in battle. I've picked a mix of infantry, cavalry, and heavy artillery because that's what the Prussians really focused on. The alpha release is optimized for PvP gameplay, but there will be a campaign mode, which will be included for those of us who are lone wolves. I've chosen a computer opponent because I don't want to embarrass myself very early on in this game by playing against a human who would probably kick my ass. Okay, so what we are looking at is a battlefield map where we have to start out by placing our units tactically. Once the units have been placed to our satisfaction, we can go ahead and fire up the game. I have sped up the gameplay here since actually the session could take up to an hour, depending on how good you are. It's a turn-based game with a difference. Instead of each player taking turns one after the other, each player makes their decisions on what moves to make for each turn at the same time. Then they submit these orders. Once both players have submitted their orders, the game executes their orders at the same time. And then the next turn begins. That makes this essentially a real-time turn-based game, in a way. Also, strategy game might not be the right categorization for this one, since it focuses on the tactical movements of your army, and not movements on a strategic level. Okay, so once the battle begins, we can give up to 6 orders to our units to move around the field, who to attack, where to move. We can stack 2 units, one on top of the other, one in front and one in reserve. And here's what I really like. We can deploy our units based on the actual battlefield commands available at the time. We can deploy them in line, in column of march, move them on the oblique, deploy our units into square, and so on. Basically, we have all of the options a historical commander would have had, with the same advantages and disadvantages for each. For example, an infantry battalion in column formation can move faster. Once you deploy them into line, they can still move forward, but they're better able to damage the enemy. And if they're attacked by cavalry, you can put them into square, which, as you probably know, makes them nearly immune to cavalry, but makes them really vulnerable to artillery. Knowing the details of the pluses and minuses of each unit and the pluses and minuses of each deployment method can help us dominate on the battlefield. In this session, it looks like I'm totally kicking ass, but you gotta be aware of two things. This is like my 5th session, so I finally figured out what I was doing. I deployed my units in a defensive position, and the opponent I'm playing against is an AI. I don't think a human opponent would have been suckered in by these positions. And here's the really cool thing. This is an alpha release, and I'm already having fun with it. So, you know, I'm really looking forward to this game actually being released for the early edition, for the beta release, and then when it goes into full production. And that's it for this video. If you liked it, click the like and subscribe button. It does help the channel out. Also, feel free to join my brand new Discord server, link in the description below. Let me know in the comments section what you think of Fire and Maneuver. Is it the kind of game that you would be interested in playing? Let me know if you like me presenting new games to you. Let me know what videos you'd like to see in the future. And, as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time with another video.